Today's morning show is being brought to you by
at Golden Nugget Laughlin. Experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today.
Good morning to you all. Hope you're enjoying your week thus far. And it's funny, these guys always catch me just before the show making me laugh or making me get very nervous about things because apparently I crossed my eyes. And Chris said that he was going to get that on camera, so I did it again. And then he tells me, you're not supposed to do that because they can get stuck. So that's how my Wednesday morning is starting off. I hope yours is off to such a better start than this. And I don't want to hear anybody say, you know what day it is. I just don't want to hear it today.
Joe, get ready.
I'll
don't do it.
He'll
holiday of some kind or something.
You know that that's just an open invitation for him to do it, so.
I know, I was waiting for it.
Gotta keep those lips zipped sometimes. I don't know.
Hey, I'm not even gonna do it, so don't
Good
do
morning.
it, Joe. Good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah. You joined right in on that. Well, yeah, you can get permanent facial features stuck or
I
something.
was joking because the saying as you grow up was always, you better not make that face too long or it'll freeze
like
that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, I don't even know why that happened, or I didn't know I could do it again on demand. But in any event, a lot's been going on. One of the big stories yesterday, and it's great news, the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund was permanently extended. I mean, of course, you'll all remember Jon Stewart's impassioned plea before Congress when they said, that's it, we're not going to extend it past 2020. And he had that Luis Alvarez, one of the FDNY heroes, who unfortunately lost his battle after, I believe, 69 rounds of chemo. 69, can you imagine that? But that's kind of bittersweet that they passed this now, when he passed just a couple of weeks ago, but at least all of the testimony and fighting was not in vain, and that 9/11 fund, they did the right thing, and it was a bipartisan effort. Actually, it was passed 97-2, and the two senators who voted against it were both Republicans, and one was Senator Rand Paul. And he makes a lot of noise, and he's very committed to his beliefs, and he will not vote for any legislation unless all of the possible amendments that he thinks would make the bill better are in place. He sticks to his principles, is basically what I'm saying. So he voted against it. And Senator Mike Lee, who has been in the headlines a time or two before from Utah, also voted against it. And I don't know, just glad that it passed.
As am I. That is a huge thing to go through. I'm so excited for the people that are going to be taken care of now.
I know, and that should have never, ever been questioned.
Agreed. There should have been. I mean, I personally don't see a negative argument or legitimate argument against it legitimately. I mean,
no, and I think that I don't know exactly what their reasons were for voting against it, but I'm pretty sure that I read it had to do with amendments that were in it, and maybe just certain things that they didn't agree with. But I don't think anybody in their right mind could ever be against funding these people who literally gave their lives. And, you know, they were told that they would be okay. And years later, here they are suffering from end-stage emphysema and all kinds of cancer-related cancer, well, different types of cancer from their time spent down there in the rubble. So,
You know, I think that we got good news on that area, and I'm sure our 9/11 hero Luis Alvarez is in heaven celebrating. So
I would share those sentiments with you. I would hope that he is. I imagine that he is. So that's great. Anyway, I wanted to say one other thing. You actually brought up Mike Lee a while back when he was feuding with AOC.
yeah, he was ridiculing her new green policy and compared it to like make-believe fairy tale stories and stuff like that.
And at first, I remember being like, are you kidding? Did he really get on the Senate floor and deliver this presentation of, I think he had Ronald Reagan on a dragon?
Oh, that's right.
Right,
yes.
with the machine gun.
Okay.
And so he's known for his antics. And again, he was one of the nay votes there.
Now, I would have to say, as far as Rand Paul goes, that he probably was only against it because he felt that there were improvements that could be made to it.
That's
I don't know
what
what
yeah.
his justifications were, though.
Right, that's what I said. I think that nobody would willingly vote against it. But anyway, you had something about today in history, and I know it tied into Mike Lee because his dad was actually one of the founding deans of Brigham Young University. And what did you tell me about today in history?
Okay, so today in history was actually the first members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints arrived in Utah and settled in what's now present-day Salt Lake City in 1847.
Ah,
Which
so wow.
I thought was very interesting.
That is.
Especially, you know, with everything.
Yeah, that certainly is. What else happened today in
And
history?
then another big one, there weren't a lot of huge things that took place today, but the Supreme Court also in 1974 ruled that President Richard Nixon must surrender the Watergate tapes. I was saying the wrong thing earlier, so it threw me off when I was reading it just now.
Oh, yes, we know how that goes. But imagine that. Wow, that was
huge.
It was before our time.
It was way before our time, but I mean, I didn't mean it like that.
But no, of course, that set the precedent for...
Yeah, and it made its mark in history, so...
and of course, President Nixon resigned, and here we are. And you know what is throwing me off today? I know what it is, and I think you do too. We haven't said good morning to Chris or Joe yet.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong. Good morning, Chris. He doesn't want to talk. Joe doesn't want to talk. They're mad.
Wait a
Joe says, wait, what's going on?
Hey, I found out though. Today is it's a special day today.
What is it?
Guess.
Oh my God! Don't. No. See, this is what
we
I
all
mean.
hate guessing.
Pioneer Day.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
What's Pioneer Day?
You know what pioneers are, right?
I know what pioneers are.
I guess it's the day to. Well, I guess it's relevant in Utah or something, not here. But you know, you guys were saying, oh, today's a special day, so.
Oh, it's kind of along the lines of what I was
know,
saying with the Mormon
yeah.
settlement.
Exactly.
Oh.
I didn't realize it was called Pioneer Day, but yes, it says Pioneer Day is an official holiday celebrated on July 24th in American state of Utah, with some celebrations taking place in regions of surrounding states. Because, like I said, today was the day that the first batch of Mormons settled in Salt Lake City. And
Imagine that. Look at that.
There's the family.
Yeah, there they are. Alrighty. So, I know we have a lot of Canadian viewers, although a lot of our Canadian viewers seem to be central Canada and Eastern Canada, but I'm sure we have some folks who watch from British Columbia. Anyway, with that said, there was a horrific tragedy not too long ago where an American woman and her Australian boyfriend were actually murdered on a Canadian highway. And you know, these were young people in their 20s, and they were vacationing in Canada, and there's been no explanation as to what happened to them. And of course, people want answers, so they had a press conference with the Mounties, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and something went awry. And this is not meant to be a joke or anything. This really happened. And of course, the tone of the conference was horrible. I mean, you have people there wanting to know answers why their loved ones were just murdered. And technology can ruin things, apparently. Now, I don't know, we have a video. Can we run that video?
We're waiting for the beautiful ad of 2019.
Okay, so the video is self-explanatory. I don't, you know how I admit it all the time. I kind of give things away. But it's just something that went horribly wrong, and you'll see.
Police in Canada recently live-streamed a press conference, and social media users quickly noticed something was off. One user noted in a tweet on Friday, "The British Columbia Royal Canadian Mounted Police are giving a press conference on the 2 people murdered on the Alaska Highway, and they have the cat ear filter on." In response to another tweet, the authorities wrote, "Yes, we are aware and addressing it as it's an automatic setting. Thank you. We will rectify and issue a video shortly."
So as you can see, I mean, that was definitely not intentional, and this has actually happened before. It happened during a Pakistani press conference, and the material that they were discussing was nothing like this horrific case here. But so people actually poked fun at that case, and as you can see why. And people always poke fun at politicians, but
It's hard to tell if they would take that, like, did people think it was like some sort of gag or a prank, or did they know the story was true, or at that point were they in disbelief because they thought they were making comedy out of it?
Well, you know, if you looked at the threads on social media, there were people who knew that there were people who questioned whether their account had been hacked, or was this a joke, or, you know, they knew that the Royal Mounted Police obviously would never do something like that, but they just didn't know what had happened, and if they were aware that it was going on while the live stream was going out. So that's why people were like, "Hey, you have a cat filter on.
Could you imagine
What are you doing?"
trying to rebuild your credibility after that? That would be super difficult.
Right, and I think in the case of the politicians there, it's much more difficult to do than an agency like the Royal Mounted Police. I mean, every Canadian police, everybody knows that they're just so well respected throughout the entire world, and it was just an unfortunate incident. So I think that they'll be okay, and it just happened at a really awful time, and well, that's the downside of all of the filters and everything. That Chris, you know a lot about filters.
It's funny too. Well, it's not funny, but it's surprisingly it's really easy to hit those, and then it tells me whoever streamed it. So like if we have like 2 applications, you have the business Facebook pages Chad and I uses. They don't have any filters on there, but if you use the Facebook app, you can easily click a filter. I'm not surprised, but it is kind of embarrassing. Like you said, they're really well established law enforcement too, so it kind of sucks a little bit too.
Yeah.
And it also detracts from the actual crime that took place. That was
Right.
And yeah.
Oh, speaking of crimes, last week, no, I don't know, the days all blur together. It was probably a couple of weeks ago. We told you about the Nevada Highway Patrol pulling over a hearse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, they did not cite that driver. However, the HOV lanes that have been in effect now since May of this year in Las Vegas, a lot of people are up in arms about it. In fact, the Las Vegas City Council was like, hey, you know what? We're going to just do away with the fines. We don't want to do this. This is crazy. There's been a lot of back and forth between government officials and NHP, and then they're trying to come to a happy medium. But the HOV lanes are in effect, and you will get cited. You will get fined. The first month, they gave everybody a warning, the month of May. Last month, they issued 518 citations for people So, I mean, this is something that they are enforcing. So if your travels take you up to Vegas, you better not go in that HOV lane if you don't have somebody else in your vehicle with you, because they're serious business.
Yeah, and it was funny because when they came in, when our guest came in talking about the things people do, using these fake dolls and stuff, you know, the classic, you've always heard that as a joke, but it's funny that they're saying people are actually still trying to pull that off.
I know, it's crazy, but that was certainly an unprecedented move to have a hearse.
Oh, I mean, technically they're not single occupant.
I know,
Yeah, but you remember, actually we had Sergeant Dice here from the NHP, and he echoed the words of his fellow troopers there, who said, no, you have to have somebody who's actually a living, breathing person riding along with you.
Like you said, this was a first for anybody, and now no one realized. Who would have thought of that in the first?
Somebody that drives a hearse.
I don't even,
Right.
I still can't react to it.
My thoughts behind that is that the person didn't give a second thought to doing it, because these are newly established lanes, and they're just like, whatever. And then maybe midway through the thing, they're like, oh, well, if I get pulled over, hey, I technically am not alone. I don't know. I'm just.
I know you wonder what happened in this ad or what made them. But yeah, I haven't driven Vegas in a while since they've opened them, so I'm interested.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you mentioned guests, and speaking of guests, we have a great guest coming up today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jeremy Keating from Laughlin Bullhead International Airport, IFP. He will be joining us a little bit later in the show, and he's got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. There's always stuff going on at that airport, and maybe some new passenger service could be in the works.
And I also think it's a lot busier than any of us ever really give it credit for, because it does do so much.
Really, and they were recently awarded a couple of grants, and hopefully they have some more in the works, and we'll see what Mr. Keating has to say. But before we do that, we're actually going to take a look at Pet Watch. And Pet Watch.
Brought to you by Advanced Animal Care. Healthy pets make happy owners. You can reach them at 928-770-4918. And here are the pets for today.
Oh, and our first little girl we have here is a 4-year-old domestic medium hair tortie. And she was found, she's a little one, isn't she? She looks very small.
She was small.
Yeah, she's a little girl.
Oh.
She's been available since the 11th of July, so she's been there for a couple weeks.
And the way she was loving on my arm, she was at some point somebody's pet. Right here we have a little boy who is a domestic long hair white and orange tabby. He's 3 years old. He has been fixed, and he was an owner turn-in, and he's been available since the 3rd of July. Oh. And he too needs a good home to go to.
He looks so sad.
It breaks my heart every time I go in there. It's wrenching.
I can't even imagine. And once again, Pet Watch is brought to you by Advanced Animal Care, where they're just amazing with your pets. They really are.
It's the best I've ever worked with.
And as we always say, if you have room in your hearts and your home, please go down to the shelter and pick up one of those animals. Lifelong friend. We can't ask for more than that. But we can ask for the weather. Can we take a look at that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yesterday, the official high in Laughlin and Bullhead City was 106 degrees, and Kingman and Searchlight got up to 94 degrees. This morning, we had a low of 88 degrees. Looking around the area, we have 106 in Las Vegas, thunderstorms in a high of 76 in Flagstaff. Phoenix will get up to 105, 89 in Los Angeles, and here in Laughlin and Bullhead City, 110 degrees. Over in Mesquite, we have 107. Searchlight's going to get up to 97. 107 in Lake Havasu City, 89 in Prescott, and 96 in Kingman, Arizona.
Still humid out there.
Way too humid.
Yeah, definitely. Another chance of showers this afternoon. And what were you going to say?
I just, the doppelganger thing I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, let's do that, because I didn't get a chance to see them, so I want to see them.
Okay, so everybody knows what a doppelganger is, but for those who don't, it's where two people look almost identical, but don't know each other and are not related.
Love these.
Recently, in Ireland, 2 girls were located that are extremely close in features, and one's a year older than the other. You want to throw their picture up, and then I'll go over how they're related? Okay, now tell me those 2 don't look like they should be twins or are twins.
They
look like, yeah.
Okay.
They definitely look like sisters.
So they aren't. There's 0.000001% chance that they're full-blooded brother or sisters.
Right.
There's 0.01% chance that they're half siblings.
That's wild.
So instead of going back up the lineage, they looked at the haplogroup. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, the haplogroup is it's basically it determines who your female heritage descends from. And one is categorized under the H1 and the other one's under a T1. So it's basically saying that their lineage does not come from the same original person, and they look that close alike.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they're both from Ireland. One was from Dublin and one was from another place. But I was completely astounded. It says 150,000 to
No,
1 chance that they're
The nose is different.
the
but-
nose is.
Yeah, but their eyes are, oh my gosh,
And they both
remarkably
have
similar.
very similar
Mouth, facial structure.
They
like-
both talk with their hands, and they
Really?
both do all kinds of stuff like that they have in common. That's strange for doppelganger, I guess.
Yeah, well, they do say everybody has a twin, so I think that they just found theirs. And how many sites do you belong to? You must be a premium member of all of these ancestry
Okay,
sites.
I did join another one called mytrueancestry.com, and I paid for an upgraded membership. But
Oh,
it's where it goes back to your ancient history, and it talks about how like my family comes from Lombardo and Celts and Vikings.
Huh.
Nice. Did you do yours too, Chris?
No, I've yet to. I think we talked about this last year around Christmas time, and I was going to, but I just didn't. I want to, but I don't know. It just feels weird doing it at the same time. I'm still debating on it.
There's so much interesting facts, both medically and just heritage-wise, that you can learn from it. And I recommend doing it because it's fun and it's exciting for me. I love learning about history and my past specifically.
Well, my parents did it, and I figure, I'm their offspring, so I'm half of them.
Now,
So, I feel like I know what I am, but you're right. You do get all of those facts, like your genetic predispositions for certain diseases or inclinations even. Yours goes right down to like, oh, this person is more inclined to not run 30 miles. you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, I mean, there's some incredible ones out there. But one thing I found most interesting is, as far as the genetic material being passed down, like the daughter doesn't really receive the identifying information like the chromosome that the men get from their father, and men will get the chromosome from their mother, but they won't pass it down to their children, which I thought was very interesting.
So that's why, like, your composition could be not exactly what you would expect it to be after seeing your parents'
Correct.
readings.
Joe has some photos.
I don't think. Oh, that's funny.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We all know where we came from now.
Appreciate it.
Our
His
chromosomes.
smile. I love
That
that.
is funny.
guys.
That was very
I
funny.
love his smile.
Joe, did you ever do yours?
Not yet, but I'm pretty interested too.
Yeah.
Could find some surprising things.
You know what I think? I think it should be mandated that every single person in the world do it. You know
I
why?
think that would be.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because maybe we could all live happily ever after, knowing that there's no way that we're not all related to one another.
In some way.
In
But
some way.
Have you seen the movie Gattaca?
Why does that
Of
sound
course
familiar?
not.
It's a movie about people in the future. People like are genetically altering their babies, or they're set up to only have children that are genetically perfect.
Oh.
And if you weren't born through the genetic enhancement process, then you were a second-class citizen. And
How far off from the truth is that, though?
there you go, right there. It's.
You know what I mean?
I if we started getting that into DNA and making it mandatory, I could totally see.
Oh no, I was just being facetious,
Oh, I know,
of
I know, I
course,
was-
but getting to a point where we find out that we're all of these different ethnicities and everything else, and sometimes people argue over the most ridiculous things, and then come to find out.
Well, They say it traces, everybody's genetic heritage will trace back to the same male, I think it was like 200,000 years ago, and the same female close to 200,000 years ago, because all of the others stopped reproducing or something took place to where they weren't the only ones in those times, but they were the only ones whose genetic line continued on.
Right. So then you see these, eons long battles between different ethnic groups and everything, and you have to ask yourself,
What's the difference?
why? Yes. So argue about anything else, but just don't do it over your ethnicity, right?
I don't understand that either.
They need a version where you just connect all your social media accounts and put your name, and they collect all your data, and then they just find your they find your twin that watches all the same shows and has the same job as you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's next. You just gave them an idea. Way to go, Chris.
Guys, nope.
No, I don't think it's a new
We-
idea,
nope.
Tara. I'm sure I've fallen for that trap.
Oh my gosh.
No one can take it. I said it on air. It's mine.
It's like the show Black Mirror.
I don't think
Oh
it
my
works
gosh,
that way.
has anyone
What's
watched
Black
that?
Mirror?
Black Mirror. It's like a Twilight Zone, but it's more technology themed though.
Yeah. So
No.
It's interesting.
it's a modern version. It is like Twilight.
It is Twilight Zone,
And
basically.
it's like a modern version where like technology is just used in a way that makes you go, that's possible, but at the same time it's not scary, but it's like this is the name of the show. It's on Netflix, but it's a weird show.
It makes you think.
Oh well, I would say I'll check it out. I'm sure I pay for our Netflix subscription,
Oh,
but I
gosh.
don't do anything with it. Like my
Spotify.
spot, yes, that I've never logged into. I don't even think I set up my account, but I know that they bill me every month, along
Oh.
with all of the newspapers and everything else. I just failed to cancel all of those trial memberships. Surprise!
That's what I hate about memberships is that you have to go in and cancel them because
Yeah,
I'm horrible at it too.
But I still haven't. And here we are 6 months later and I'm still talking about it. I have to do it because, the impetus behind this is I watched a commercial, and I think it was for Wells Fargo Bank or something, and
no.
there's a guy on his phone, and he's like, the voiceover is saying, he signed up for this under a trial membership 6 months ago, and he hasn't canceled it, but, the bank tells him, hey, you're paying for this, and it basically it's very easy for him to just go, boop, cancel.
They make apps for that.
Yeah, well, mine's going to be a little more complicated than that, unfortunately, but I have to
Figured
do
it out.
it because it's very wasteful. So, with that said, how are we doing time-wise?
We got a few more minutes. I have a fun little topic. So we've all seen the Corvettes, right? Just the regular Corvette.
Oh, sure, they have a club here.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So they introduced a new one, and like I've liked the Corvette, but I've never have gazed over this brand new Corvette. So this just came out this
Ooh.
week, and it is a mid-engine now. So it looks like
Oh my God,
yeah,
that's incredible.
It is so gorgeous.
It's stunning. So they've had concepts for many years. They've had 5 different concepts from the first Corvette, and none of them have been successful or have gone public. And this is the first one to actually go public. And gosh, it is stunning.
Oh my gosh.
That is beautiful.
Now, is this a prototype for like 2022 or something?
No, this is an official Corvette you can buy in 2020.
2020, really?
And name the price.
Sure.
Just, you'll be surprised.
85,000.
I'm going to go upwards of $100,000.
No, we're talking under $60,000.
Shut up.
Really?
Yes. So that's even more magical of how nice that car.
Well, that one that's loaded like that is probably 85,000.
Oh
but
yeah. But the stock one is under $60,000, and that's a beautiful car when I saw it.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I agree with you there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
That does not look like, that's a really good price on the car.
Yeah, I know. Grandfather and I talked about it, and we were just amazed. And Corvettes actually kept a really nice price on their Stingrays and all of them. They've kept a good price, but this
Yeah.
one I've never won. It's a whole new beast. So
uh-oh.
if anyone gets one, bring it by. I would love to see it.
Yeah, watch next year. You'll pull into our lot here, and you'll see 3 of them out there.
The entire club's going to
Because one of us has to not get one, right?
I know, right?
I haven't heard Joe pipe in. I don't know if he likes it or not, so
Oh no, it's
okay.
splended.
What is?
Oh yeah,
like,
he sounds so excited.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
your favorite car? Of Like modern, older?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I guess I like McLarens.
Ooh,
Oh.
fancy.
Okay.
What are you, Tara?
My favorite car?
Yeah, I feel like you're an Audi or a Lincoln person.
Well, because I had a Lincoln, but no. Actually, my favorite car was my BMW, my little 328i. I love that car so much, but it was a terrible, terrible vehicle. I bought it when I was 2 years old, and it was a lemon. It was just everything was wrong with it, and I only kept it for a year before I traded it in for an Acura, which I ended up keeping for 9 years. That car was gorgeous. It was beautiful, and I kept it for 9 years. So
9 years?
Yeah, 9 years. I did.
Aren't you just lucky?
Lucky? No, I mean by the end, like after 9 years, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's time for a new car. But it was such a great vehicle.
I always
And
thought they had problems.
no,
Wow.
I didn't have any. I mean, I didn't have any problems with it whatsoever.
Huh.
And that too, that when I bought it, it was a year old, and it only had like 18,000 miles on it or something. And we all know it's ridiculous. Don't ever buy a brand new car off the lot because you're just being foolish, right? It's going to depreciate by 30% when you drive it off the lot.
Oh,
But
I know, right?
Maybe if you can get a demo car or a program car. Well,
That's my
you know?
biggest hesitation to ever shopping for a brand new car. I mean, aside from like other stuff involved, but that's the only thing that makes me prefer a used car is because I'm not going to lose that much
Right.
investment right away.
Right, and you can save so much by just that 1 year,
Absolutely.
And if they change the design in that model year, wow, the price just plummets. But then so does the value of your car once you bought it too. So I don't know.
Instantly. It's just
Yeah.
the
so-
quickest way to make money disappear.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Dangerously, too.
Yes, very, very true.
Because one of my friends, she bought a really nice car up in Vegas a year ago, and she's already way past than what she expected, what they said. So, like you said, a used cars. But talk about buying. I told you guys this a few minutes ago. So I went on the Walmart's website.
Oh,
This
no.
was funny. Right in the middle, it says what's trending, and it's I didn't know they could get to such information. It's a gas tank.
Trending near Bullhead City
Yeah, a gas tank, a backpack, and a cooler.
for the arsonist on the go. Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't say that. No.
But
We meet all your needs.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so weird that Walmart looked at my location, looked at all the purchases we've all made here, and said, "Oh, here's your top 3 items." Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
That's funny though.
But I mean, that certainly makes sense with the cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Backpacks, kids are going.
It's
Kids are
back to
going
school,
back
yeah.
to school. They're going back to school in like a week. What is this?
Oh, I know.
I can honestly say I get jealous of their summer vacations, but I don't ever get jealous of back to school.
Oh, I
No.
know, right?
Although, for the longest time, I would still go to back to school sales at Staples and everything, and I don't know what I would do.
All the time.
Right? With all of this stuff. And in fact, if I'm so embarrassed to say it, I probably could fill half a storage unit with all of the school supplies I bought. Yeah, Chad's saying me too. Yeah. And I did donate a lot of them, and that was my whole plan, but then I came here. So I have a bunch of stuff back there. I should ship it out here. Maybe somebody can use it.
I stock my nephews up each year, and I don't have to go shopping each year either, but
But you do anyway.
especially at the end when everything goes on clearance, I am like
That's it.
shoving that stuff in the cart.
Well, they should never make those sales where they have like limit 5 per customer, but you can buy a box of pencils for a penny.
Oh, no.
Are you not going to go and get 5 boxes of pencils for 5 cents? Of course you are, because you know that there will be somebody who will need them.
Eventually,
Yes, like me. I needed a
Guaranteed.
pencil the other day.
and I had one.
And ladies, I'm sure you know this tip. If you've lost an earring back, because I'm sure I'm surrounded by all boys here.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a sister.
Yeah, or you can use a potato too.
Okay. I never heard the potato. I'll stick with the rubber eraser on a pencil.
Really?
Yes, I lost my ear. It's still here, by the way.
Well, you taught Joe and I a new lesson.
Well, for your earrings that I don't see either of you have, but
Well, you never know. No, I'm just kidding.
but if you do lose an earring back and you have a pencil handy, you just take off the eraser and use it. So That's what I had to do.
Is that why all the eraser heads were gone during high school on the pencils?
Yeah, probably. Probably, because I think that's where I learned that trick. But
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
yeah. Hey, one quick thing before we actually have to go to break, because we have to bring Jeremy in. But before we do that, I sent you guys a video from a 5-year-old's birthday party that, well, a guest of honor, something went horribly wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know if you have it.
Do you want audio or no?
Yeah, I think you can. I don't know if there's really too much audio. It's really the what happens in the aftermath and then the silence. So,
Okay, we're ready.
All right, let's roll.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Nailed it.
Oh.
All right.
Oh. I got that.
Now, most of you, if you have small children, or you've ever been around a bunch of small kids that are laughing and making so much noise and everything, if nothing but something like that could cause, 30 kids over here to just stop. They are dead silent because if you missed it, that.
Oh my gosh,
Right.
now I see it.
Okay. All right. Yep. So people are probably watching this saying, what are we looking for?
Oh, I just barely
Now,
saw it.
let me explain who that is. We all know that we have a hockey team here in Vegas. We have the Vegas Golden Knights. And how many times are we going to run this? Okay, because I think we're just laughing way too much.
That was
All right, it was
I
funny.
feel so bad.
So anyway, we have the Vegas Golden Knights, and we have a great mascot. We have Chance, and he's great, and he goes into all kinds of events like that. Well, the New Jersey Devils over on the East Coast, they have a mascot too, and that's who that was. That was their mascot. And he stopped in to surprise the kiddos, and he got quite the surprise himself when he ran into the glass windows thinking that maybe they were plexiglass, like in a hockey rink.
Can I show
Oh
it
my
one more time?
gosh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go for it, please. Go for it.
Joe closed it. Never mind.
All right. Okay, well,
there we
speak.
go. Yep.
Oh, gosh.
We're gonna watch it one more time. I
Here we
feel
go.
so bad.
That's pure excitement right there.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, did
So
they pay to have the window fixed?
I don't know, but it's just all so funny, and how the kids are just like,
You've never,
Just
you've
nothing.
never seen a room just go.
right, and but anyway, that was the New Jersey Devils mascot running into glass. In case you missed it, the 11 times we showed it to you.
I didn't notice it until like the 8th or 9th time, but I eventually caught it.
It took me. All I heard was this big burst of glass, and I go, because I was paying attention to the kids. So.
I was too.
All right. Well, on that note, we are going to go to break, and we'll be back with Jeremy Keating from Laughlin Bullhead International Airport.
Dental, the best place for the best smile in the tri-state area. Kind and caring staff will help you feel better about your smile. Call them today at 928-758-8887 or check them out online at sugarbug.com.
The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River encourages you to donate local, shop local, and support local at the club's thrift store in Bullhead City. Donate your gently used items. Shop at the thrift store for great bargains to support programs for our local youth. It's that easy. Also, volunteers are always needed. The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River. Great futures start here.
Mojave Skin and Cancer in Laughlin and Bullhead City, serving our area since 1987. You don't have to be a sun worshiper to suffer from skin cancer. That's why it's important to see Dr. Dulot or any one of his associates regularly. You may not recognize the first signs of skin cancer. Mojave Skin and Cancer does. See them at 3650 South Point Circle, Suite 106 in Laughlin, and 2350 Miracle Mile Road in the Riverview Mall in Bullhead City.
This segment of the morning show is brought to you by Mojave Skin and Cancer, conveniently located on Needles Highway in Laughlin and on Miracle Mile Road in Bullhead City. Visit MojaveSkinandCancer.com for more information. And welcome back to Take Two. And as promised, we have a very special guest, joined here by Jeremy Keating, Executive Director of the Laughlin Bullhead International Airport.
Thank you for having me.
Great. I know that you were one of Bruce's favorite guests to come in and talk about aviation, basically. You know, you just mentioned off air that he was a pilot, of course, and he loved to talk about being up there in the skies. So.
Yep. I like the banter back and forth about the good old aviation days. Right?
Yes, he did. But, you know, you've had some big news recently at the airport. You were awarded a big grant, and $2.6 million.
Well, it's actually 2 different grants, and there's actually more grants coming too. So, you know, we can talk about that too. But we actually expecting to get 5 grants this year.
Okay. Well, I knew that there was another one in the works, and I was going to ask you about that too. But please. Go ahead.
Right. So the $2.6 million is actually 2 separate grants. There's there was a grant for an airport master plan, and then to purchase some land that we've been working on for about 8 years, trying to buy some state land, a little bit, I guess, southeast of the airport. So yeah, that was great news. And we were kind of expecting to receive those grants.
So is that for future expansion?
That's for future expansion, right? Yeah, we're kind of locked in with land right now, and so. Part of our responsibility as an airport is to look into the future, and land was a pretty good price 8 years ago. We didn't expect that it would take so long to go through the environmental and to work with state land department. Is really frustrating.
Nobody ever does, do they?
Right, it is frustrating. I'll have to be honest, but we finally got to the auction, and we purchased the land, and now we're getting a grant. An FAA grant to help us reimburse for a large chunk of that.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Right. Oh, yeah. So.
And you know, I know that you're always trying to get new airlines to come in and service this area. Of course, we do have the casino charter flights, which are a big part of your business.
Right.
And are there any plans in the works right now for maybe a smaller commercial airline?
Absolutely. We're always talking to airlines, and we went to a conference in Tucson. It was probably a month ago or so, and we met with 8 airlines. 8 airlines. That was probably the most airlines that we've ever met with when we go to these conferences.
Sure.
So there's definitely interest. We have 2 deals on the table right now that have been presented to us with small aircraft. And so we're currently trying to work behind the scenes and trying to raise money for those revenue guarantees. And typically airlines don't service a small community without offering, I say, like a carrot. And unfortunately, that's just the model these days, that small communities just can't get scheduled service without mitigating the risk. And so to mitigate the risk, the community has to come up with a large amount of cash. And that's what's typically very difficult, and especially difficult for our community. So, so that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes. If we can figure out how to collect this amount of cash from the big stakeholders, then we might be able to see something develop over the next few months. And so there's some glimmer of hope. And
that's great news, because you know, we often get questions, we get emails to the station, calls saying, hey, we have a great airport there. I know that in the past, I think American serviced the airport, and different airlines did, and when are we going to do that again? We don't want to drive to Phoenix. We don't want to drive to Vegas. And it's free parking. There's free parking at the airport.
Free parking, right. So we'll always keep that free parking to try to entice people to use our service rather than drive to Vegas or Phoenix.
We'll certainly be keeping a close eye on that, and hope to hear something.
And that's just one part of the deal, though. There's another piece that we're working on right now. We just submitted a grant proposal for the Small Community Air Service Development Program, which is through the Department of Transportation. And every year they authorize a certain amount of money, and they try to give this money out in grants to small communities to help them entice an airline. So we just submitted a proposal for service to Denver. which we've thought Denver would be a fantastic route for us for a long period of time. Unfortunately, just some other things kind of worked in, and American came and said, hey, we want to do Phoenix, and you don't say no to that.
Sure.
But we are going to continue to push for service to Denver. The resorts like that, there's a lot of people that would like to connect through Denver. Denver has over 100 cities that you can, right. And a lot of people, when they ask these questions, they don't understand that we're not going to go to Boise.
Right, exactly.
We're not going to go to these other airports. We need to connect to a large hub so that everybody can feed into the hub and get here as well as get out. And that's really the only way that we're going to make scheduled service be sustainable in the future, to connect to a large hub where you can connect to multiple cities.
That's a great option. I mean, I hope that.
So we're trying. We have two different things working right now, so it's kind of exciting.
Oh, that
but
is
you just have to be patient. It just takes a while.
Well, yeah, you've done just a tremendous job with the airport. You're always trying to look for ways to benefit our community, and whether it's providing, of course, a tremendous airport and air service, you also you bring in all of these events. You bring in, you've had the Wings of Freedom tour. You've had military flights on, military aircraft on display for people to come and see. And I know a little bit later on in the year, you'll have one of the best events that kids could possibly attend, and that's the Young Eagle program.
Yeah. Have you been to one of those before?
I actually did last year. I had the chance to see one, and I was a little too old to take the flight, but yeah.
I bet you one of the pilots would take you up. You could do a little story on that.
I would love to do that.
You should. That's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody, he said that. See, I'm going to hold him to it.
I'll get you connected with the right pilot to go up.
I would love to do
Absolutely, yeah. No, we love doing that because it's all about the kids, right? And to give kids a free airplane ride, to hopefully kind of entice them into the passion that a lot of us have for aviation. And maybe we kind of get some younger folks interested in aviation, and maybe it's being a pilot, or maybe it's being an airport director one day. You don't know, and so that's part of the program. The Young Eagles.
Cultivate that interest,
right? And the Young Eagles is not run by us. No. It's run by the EAA, who monitors that program and tries to coordinate it. But we have the chapter out of Kingman that flies all their aircraft down here and does that day for us. So we're very thankful for that group to do that, because it's an excellent program.
Of course, and everyone in the community is very thankful too, because I've seen countless social media posts where parents are like, "Oh my gosh, my child got to do this," and the kid smiles. It's priceless. It's amazing.
It is. So, yeah.
All right, I'm holding you to that.
Okay.
Now. Okay. So hey, speaking of aircraft in the sky, a lot of people have been wondering what all of the noise we heard in the past couple of days. Is it the Canadian military?
Good question. I mean, they operate out of the FBO, out of Signature Flight Support. There have been a few helicopters over there doing some training in the area. I don't know if they're Canadian or U.S. military. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, they like to come to our area and do some training. There's a lot of what are called military operations areas. They call them MOAs that are in the airspace around here because of there's so much land in Arizona that you can use in the airspace. So they like to use our airport as kind of a.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I ran into somebody, and I know it's Canadian because actually Chris ran into one of the military members. I believe he did last night or this morning, and I did as well. And they said that they just love this area so much, and they come back year after year after year. But people were a little nervous when they're like, "What is going on?" All the helicopters circling and everything.
Yeah. But I think they're only here for a week or not very long, but yeah.
But long enough for people to be like, "Oh,
yeah, what's going on?" Yeah.
So. But
it's good recognition for the airport.
Yes, it is.
Oh, do we have an airport here?
But no, they did. They said that it's a tremendous airport. They love it. They love everything about it.
Yeah, they get great service. Signature does a fantastic job. They have a military fueling contract, so it allows them to get quite a few military operations. So it's good. So
we mentioned briefly that, of course, the casino charter flights are something that I'm assuming, since I've only been here 2 years, I'm assuming that they've been going on since the inception of the airport,
long time.
right?
For a long time, yeah. I don't know the specifics of when they started to get really going on that, but yeah, as long as I've been here, and I've been here 8 years, they've been going really, really strong. So
it's still very solid.
It's still a solid program. Yeah, we feel very fortunate and lucky to have the Riverside and Harrah's both doing pretty strong programs. They serve about over 100 cities
Yeah.
in the United States, so it's a pretty robust program. They fly in about 220,000 people in and out of the airport every year. I mean, it's a
big business.
Yeah, it's definitely a big business. So
It's just, again, we try to address all of the questions that people ask us, and they're like, oh, wow, there's the whole takeover with Harrah's, the consolidation there with El Dorado Resorts, and they're like, are they going to stop the charter flights? And
not that I'm aware.
I know. I'm like, I
hope
haven't
not.
heard anything on either side there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now the airport authority, you have, of course, your airport, but is it true that you're also a landlord on Highway 95?
We are, yeah. We lease out all the land where the Home Depot is and Sam's Club. That's all Airport Authority property.
So that is.
So, yeah. That's where the runway used to be. The runway used to be down along the highway, and that's where the taxiway system and all the airplanes used to park. Used to be hundreds of airplanes that would fly in, and they would walk across the highway and take the riverboat across, and that was before the bridge. It was a pretty neat thing. There was a lot more pilots back then than there was now. There's been a huge drop off with private pilots just because it's very costly to fly these days, and it's just different than it used to be. But but the FAA allowed us to keep that property and turn it into what they say non-aeronautical revenue, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what keeps us in the black.
Sure.
If it wasn't for the airport center, where Sam's Club, Home Depot, Chili's, we would be.
Especially when times are
struggling.
lean. I recently discovered that information. I did not know that, and I thought that I'm sure our viewers will find that to be fascinating if they're new to the area and didn't just. Thank you for that concise history of the airport. That you taught me something there. I didn't know.
We have a lot of land still. We have a couple really great pads. Or they call them pads in the real estate term, I guess, right there along Highway 95. That are
still open for development.
Still open, yeah. So if you know anybody,
there you go. There's your pitch right there.
That's right.
So anything else new and exciting?
Other than we have the airport master plan, where the land. We also are designing our terminal access road reconstruction. The road is really falling apart, so we'll be constructing that next year, and so we're going to be starting a design project to redesign that road reconstruction.
Okay.
And then we're also waiting for a grant to do, it's a runway safety area project near the runway. And then we're also doing a general aviation wash rack where the general aviation pilots can wash their airplanes with oil water separator and the whole thing, so that it's properly the water's going in the right place.
Well, you certainly maintain the airport beautifully. It is absolutely great, and it's funny that you say that the road's falling apart. Maybe I just come from a place where potholes exist for 9 years, but I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's beyond crack seal. You can't. So.
Well, once again, I mean, you do a fantastic job, and
I appreciate that.
Looking forward to hearing, hopefully, some announcements soon about maybe commercial
Cross
flights.
your fingers.
Yes,
yeah.
Everybody do that. And, of course, we will keep you updated on that Young Eagles program, because you heard him. I get to go.
Yeah, we're looking, I think, in November timeframe. So kind of watch our website, and I'm sure we'll put out a press release as well for when that happens. So.
Well, we'll be looking forward to all of it, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely.
It's been great. And we'll be right back with more of Take Two.
This segment of the morning show is brought to you by All Wellness Medical Center, now open for all your wellness needs. Located on Canyon Road off the Bullhead Parkway. Make an appointment today.
Silver Rider, your dependable and timely transportation system in Laughlin. Scheduled routes in Laughlin 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right along Casino Drive and into the residential areas of Laughlin every day, all day. Silver Rider also offers senior transit with trips to Bullhead City for doctor's appointments and shopping.
We have weekly trips to Las Vegas and even trips once a month to Needles. Warm in the winter and cool in the summer. The Silver Rider fleet is comfortable, clean, and efficient.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, this may be the most important phone call you'll ever make.
I owed $87,000 in taxes. But listen.
Your tax problem is settled. You only owe $3,500.
What a great message.
I owed $11,000 on my taxes. But now...
Congratulations. You only owe $2,068.
How's that sound?
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, then you owe it to yourself to call this number or go to tax10000.com. Even if you are already at the point where you're struggling with levies and garnishments, let our experts help guide you through the process of negotiating a tax settlement.
We owed the IRS $48,000.
But check out what we actually paid.
Are you sitting down? You only owe $3,571.
Call 800-219-1086 or go to tax10000.com. That's 800-219-1086.
Are you looking for a clean, stylish, and comfortable salon? You can expect excellence from the award-winning team of stylists at Salon by Houston. Just see what these customers had to say. Conveniently located on Highway 95, just south of Raymar, stop by Salon by Houston today. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 928-758-HAIR. This segment of the morning show is brought to you by Mojave Skin and Cancer, conveniently located on Needles Highway in Laughlin and on Miracle Mile Road in Bullhead City. Visit MojaveSkinandCancer.com for more information.
Well, that was a lot of great information we received there, and I hope we're going to get some great information about the 5-day forecast. Which, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, brought to you by Mojave Electric, Touchstone Energy. Don't forget to download your Co-op Connections app, and you take advantage of the prescription discounts. Your 5-day weather is going to look like this. Today, we have a high of 109 degrees with winds from the south at 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow, south-southwest winds at 9 miles an hour with a high of 110. Friday, we have a high of 112, and on Saturday and Sunday, we have a high of 115 degrees on both days. Looking over at the West Coast, we have Santa Rosa at 88 degrees, Sacramento at 100 degrees, San Francisco at 69, and San Jose at 87 degrees.
And that's it. That's today's show. Imagine that. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
Good show, good show.
And thank you, Mojave Electric Cooperative, for our 5-day forecast. Sorry, the credit started rolling over it, but we'll see you tomorrow.
I'll be here.
All right.
Today's morning show has been brought to you by
at Golden Nugget Laughlin. Experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today.
The preceding presentation of the morning show is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the show without the express written consent of tv2KLBC is strictly prohibited.
The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River encourages you to donate local, shop local, and support local at the club's thrift store in Bullhead City. Donate your gently used items. Shop at the thrift store for great bargains to support programs for our local youth. It's that easy. Also, volunteers are always needed. The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River, great futures start here.